schools have a vital responsibility to keep their students safe. At the same time, students have a right to privacy, even when they are on school grounds. Balancing these two important principles can be difficult. School administrators often face challenging decisions about how to maintain a secure learning environment while also respecting students' constitutional rights. This essay will explore the legal implications of school surveillance and search policies, focusing on the Fourth Amendment and its application in schools. The Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution protects individuals from unreasonable searches and seizures. This protection applies to students in school, but the courts have recognized that schools have a special need to maintain order and discipline. As a result, the Fourth Amendment is applied somewhat differently in the school context. School officials can conduct searches of students and their belongings if they have reasonable suspicion that the student has violated the law or school rules. This standard is lower than the probable cause standard that applies outside of school. Reasonable suspicion means that there must be specific and articulable facts, along with rational inferences, leading to a reasonable belief that a search will uncover evidence of wrongdoing. This means that school officials cannot search students or their belongings arbitrarily. The Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution is a cornerstone of American law. It protects individuals from unreasonable searches and seizures by the government. This protection is not absolute, as there are exceptions to this rule. However, it is a fundamental right that applies to all citizens, including students. In the context of schools, the Fourth Amendment has been tested numerous times. Courts have had to balance the need for school safety and order with the privacy rights of students. The landmark case of New Jersey v. TLO, 1985, established that school officials can conduct searches of students based on reasonable suspicion. This standard is lower than the probable cause standard required for searches outside of school. The plain view doctrine is another exception to the Fourth Amendment's warrant requirement. This doctrine allows law enforcement officers to seize evidence that is in plain view if they are lawfully present in the location where they observe the evidence. This doctrine applies in schools as well, meaning that if school officials see evidence of illegal activity or a violation of school rules in plain view, they may seize the evidence. However, it's crucial to note that the plain view doctrine does not give school officials carte blanche to search students or their belongings. The observation of an object in plain view must be inadvertent. It cannot be the result of a separate illegal search. For example, if a teacher is walking down the hallway and sees a student openly carrying a weapon, they can act on that observation. But they cannot use a minor rule infraction as a pretext to search a student's belongings hoping to find something else. Surveillance technologies such as security cameras and student tracking software are increasingly common in schools. While these technologies can be valuable tools for enhancing school safety, they also raise privacy concerns. The use of surveillance in schools must comply with the Fourth Amendment. The legality of school surveillance often depends on factors like the specific technology used, the manner of its implementation, and the justification for its use. For instance, the presence of security cameras in hallways or common areas is generally accepted, as it's considered less intrusive and serves the purpose of general safety and security. However, the use of cameras to monitor students in areas where they have a higher expectation of privacy, such as locker rooms or restrooms, is more likely to be found unconstitutional. When implementing surveillance technologies, schools must consider the proportionality of the surveillance to the safety concerns. Constant monitoring of students, particularly through intrusive means like tracking their online activity or location, can have a chilling effect on their freedom of expression and their right to privacy. School policies should clearly outline the scope and limitations of surveillance, ensuring that any monitoring is conducted within the bounds of the law and with respect for students' rights. Furthermore, schools must be transparent about their surveillance practices, informing students and parents about what technologies are used, how data is collected and stored, and for what purposes it can be used. To illustrate these principles, let's consider the hypothetical case of Jack. Jack was observed on a school surveillance camera appearing to vape in a school bathroom. Based on this observation, an assistant principal searched Jack's backpack and found a Juul with THC. Jack was subsequently suspended and arrested. The legality of the assistant principal's search of Jack's backpack is questionable. While the school may argue that the surveillance footage provided reasonable suspicion to justify the search, Jack's attorney could argue that the search exceeded the scope of a reasonable investigation into vaping. The fact that the Juul was found in Jack's backpack and not in plain view raises further legal questions. This case highlights the importance of having clear school policies regarding surveillance and searches. If the school had a policy that explicitly stated that backpacks could be searched if there was reasonable suspicion of a student possessing illegal substances, then the search of Jack's backpack might be deemed legal. However, if the school did not have such a policy, or if the policy was overly broad, then the search might be found to be unconstitutional. This scenario underscores the complex legal landscape surrounding school surveillance and searches. Balancing school safety with student privacy is an ongoing challenge. Schools must adopt clear policies, provide adequate training to staff, and ensure that all actions are taken within the bounds of the law. Failure to do so can have serious consequences for both students and schools.